Hello there. In this episode I will try to bake authentic Italian pizza, because I got criticized in the last video, when I baked a pizza in 30 minutes. For example, one viewer claimed that his dog can make better pizza, so now I have to make better pizza than the dog can make. I have tried to find a pizza that is beyond the usual you can buy in pizzerias in Italy. I found a recipe that Italians make when they want to bake something better than what you buy. The Pasta Grammar channel here on YouTube makes just such a pizza, and it's their recipe I try to follow. I link to the video in the description below. Please watch their video and give them the credit they deserve and give them a thumbs up. It has been quite cold lately and it has been down to minus 38 degrees Celsius, which is minus 36 Fahrenheit. This has meant that I haven't been able to get good quality raw materials, because I haven't dared to drive the car more than absolutely necessary. Just today it got much warmer, only minus 28 degrees Celsius, minus 18 Fahrenheit, but the grocery store is closed today. Please click the subscribe button, and give a thumbs up if you like my video. If you don't like the video, I still appreciate if you subscribe and give a thumbs up. Now the stomach is screaming for pizza, so let's get started. 1 gram of dry yeast is mixed with 3.3 hectograms of wheat flour, and the mixture is allowed to stand for 10 minutes. Now it happened to be 2 grams of yeast. I wasn't quick enough and the scale only shows whole grams. Mostly it was because I was thinking about something completely different. Pasta Grammar bakes on a kilo of wheat flour, which makes 3 pizzas, but I can't bear to eat that many. In addition, it should be 3 times as fast to bake if you bake a third of the dough. I pour in some of the mixture with water and try to finely distribute it so that there are no lumps, and then add 7 grams of salt, which happened to be 10. This time it was the scale that thought of other things, and increased after I stopped pouring. The rest of the flour is added, and the dough is mixed well. It is sticky as it should be, and then allowed to rest for 20 minutes. I spread olive oil on the dough and fold it slightly, and then lift it up in the middle so it can be folded double and air is trapped. It would have been much easier if I had used a kilo of wheat flour, but now it turned out to be a small dough, and I have big hands. It was not a good combination. I folded a few times, and then let it rest for 20 minutes again. The whole procedure is repeated again, and the dough is allowed to sleep in the refrigerator for 14 hours. Now it's been over 14 hours since I started the pizza, and now I'm getting really hungry. We have to hope that the yeast has been allowed to eat and create bubbles in the dough. Now the dough must be tempered for at least an hour before I can continue. While it is tempering, I mix crushed tomatoes with olive oil, salt and oregano. The mixture is finely distributed with a fork. If you have baked on a kilo of flour, you can sprinkle semolina on a baking table and then carefully tip the dough onto the flour. The dough is then divided into 3 pieces. Now I have baked a third of such a dough so that it would go 3 times as fast. My theory doesn't seem to hold. I get the feeling it's just as slow, but I won't know for sure until I'm done. I grease a tray with olive oil, and then the dough is carefully poured onto the tray. The dough is folded again, but so that the ugly side comes down, and placed in the middle of the plate. It is oiled and covered with plastic wrap, and allowed to rest for 1 hour and a half. Actually, I wouldn't have needed 2 layers of plastic wrap, but I'm not smarter than that. I gently push the dough out with my fingertips from the center out to the edges. Now it is noticeable that the dough has risen. There will be some large bubbles, and you have to be careful not to crush them. If you want to know the details, you can watch the channel Pasta Grammar, where they explain in detail how to make the pizza and give some good tips. Now you have to wait again, but 1 hour is enough this time. In the meantime, feel free to click the subscribe and like button if you haven't already. Now it's time for the filling, at least part of it. The red smudge can now be smeared, but I leave one corner without a smudge. Sliced potatoes are placed in that corner. Actually, olive oil and salt should be spread on the potatoes, but I missed that small detail. It's lucky I don't work as a chef. The guests would not be happy if they only get half of what they ordered. The pizza should be baked for 15 to 20 minutes at the highest heat, but I only baked it for 13 minutes before it was almost burnt. Now I add the rest of the ingredients. I start with chicken followed by ham and leave a corner. Finally, I spread mozzarella cheese. Now the pizza is baked until the cheese has melted. Finally, after many hours, it's time to taste the pizza. With all the work that goes into it, it must taste really good. The dough seems to be successful. It is very porous with many larger bubbles. I start by tasting the potato pizza, but it's not good, so I put it away. The rest of the pizza is good, but tastes like a lot of olive oil. The bread has a certain chewiness, but the edges are very crunchy. I can state that my first pizza was tastier and only took 30 minutes to make. It wasn't worth spending 20 hours for a pizza that tastes mostly of olive oil. Now you can see, when I eat, but first I show links for those who want to watch something else instead. It will be a form of slow TV, but apparently there are those who enjoy watching others eat. I would probably just get hungry myself.